Hello, everyone. My name is Lesnapan, and I've been invited to speak on the topic common mistake applicants make during interviews and how to avoid them. Before I begin, I would like to say a big thank you and congratulations to the co-winner of the first ever Project Management Expo held in these parts. Cindy Ofune, you're doing a great job. And thank you for empowering our community to be the biggest, best versions of themselves. Now, it's a pleasure to be here today to talk about a topic that's essential for anyone looking to advance their career: interviewing. Whether you're a fresh graduate or an experienced professional, interviews are often a make or break moment in your job search, and many applicants unknowingly make mistakes that can cost them the job. Let's vision this. When you've been called to interview, it's like a man who is about to woo a woman. A maiden ready for marriage has advertised herself, encouraging eligible suitors to come forward. So you've been invited to interview. Congratulations. That means she likes you. Now it's your place to sell your unique value proposition and knock out the competition so that you are the unanimous choice. Today, we will go through some common mistakes that people make while interviewing, and more importantly, how to avoid them and help you stand out and increase your chances of landing that dream job. Now, when you go online, there are several interview preparation guides, yet you continue to see people make these mistakes. So I believe the information I'm going to be sharing today bears repeating. I'll also want to give you actionable information that will set you up for success. So I'm going to be very practical. Given the time I have with you today, I'm going to be brief and comment on a couple points, but I'll speak more in depth on the key issues that I feel people have challenges with. So let's get right into it. The first point, believe you not, is punctuality. Whether you're having an interview virtually or in person, the time that you've been given to arrive is the time that the conversation is to start, not when you are to arrive. If it's a virtual interview, please check your Zoom account or your virtual meeting account. Log in at least half an hour before the session is to start. This way, you're sure that your tech works. You want to check the camera screen, you want to check your microphone, the lighting, the background, and the color scale. We are visual beings. And so if your color scale is not right, you want to be sure that you can fix that so that you give a good impression of yourself through the computer screen. If you are going to be interviewing in person, confirm parking instructions if driving, give yourself time to use the bathroom, check your appearance, calm your breathing, and get a sense of the place's culture. It's interesting what you find out when you're sitting in the lobby. Are there people that are very formal, or is it an organization where there's lots of joking and loud conversation? That would give you an indication of how to show up in the space. The next point I'm going to briefly talk about is your attire. Please dress appropriately. If you're not sure, it's better to err on the side of caution by following a smart business casual dress code. Pay particular attention to your shoes and undergarments. You might ask me why. Now, these particular clothing items, especially when they are tight, have been known to cause discomfort. So you find yourself fidgeting and giving the wrong impression to your interviewers. Now, for ladies, I know you want to make sure that you are looking the very best with your undergarments supporting the parts that you need to support, but you want to give yourself space so that you can breathe. For guys, if you have a tie, if you're wearing a tie, you want to make sure that it's not too constricting. Is your outfit revealing? Are there unseemly undergarment lines that should not be showing or patterns that should not be showing? If you're wearing jewelry, is your jewelry loud and clangy? These things pull attention away from your words and to items that should not be occupying the interviewer's time. Another advice, especially in this climb, is your use of scents. If they haven't communicated to you expressly about the scent preference for that space, please do not use scents. This is in consideration of the people in that space. And if you have a cloying, heavy perfumed scent, it might put them on the wrong side of you and make them less likely to encourage you in their space. Now, I want to talk a bit more in depth about other aspects of interviewing that will set you up for success. Now, the first mistake, not researching the company. When you fail to research the company, it's like coming into this market without properly understanding the values of that organization. One of the most critical things you can do before an interview is to thoroughly research the company. When an organization advertises for a role, they are looking for a piece of the puzzle. The technical skill, the team fits, and the culture fits. You have to understand the mission, vision, the values, and the culture of that space. Recent achievements that they have done and their value proposition compared to the competition. This shows that you're genuinely interested in the organization and not just the position. You are able to align yourself to show how you as a person fits in with the values and the culture of that organization beyond just your technical skills. When you have in-depth knowledge about the organization, it could make for a great cover letter. It could seriously enhance your conversation and give you questions to ask the interviewers at the end of the session. So how do you want to build your skills in this? Simple. Visit the company's website. Read their latest news. Check out their social media profiles. What are they saying is important to them? What stories are they highlighting? Organizations typically will highlight things they want to brag about. So get familiar with these stories. Understand their products, services, and recent developments. Learn about their work culture through employee reviews on platforms like Glassdoor. When you come prepared with this knowledge, you can tailor your answers to demonstrate how your values align with theirs. The second mistake, talking too much or too little. Now, this is a common mistake that people make a lot during interviews. Do you remember a car salesman or a snake oil salesman? They are using so many words trying to convince you why their product is the miracle product. Instead, they have the opposite effect. You distrust them. Talking too much during an interview session can overwhelm the interviewer and actually make you stray from the topic. You go off point. It promotes distrust, while saying too little may make it seem like you are not engaged or you don't have enough to offer. You want to strike the right balance. How do you do this? Think of a paragraph. You need to construct your response to follow a similar manner: the introduction, body, and conclusion. The introduction should answer the question and link to the body. The body should justify your position stated in the introduction, and the conclusion is your learning outcome of your statements. How do you avoid this? Please focus on providing concise, structured answers. It's perfectly okay for you to come with a notebook, jot down the question so that you remain focused on responding to the questions that you've been asked, so that you don't go off points. Use the STAR method, STAR. You can add the L. So the S stands for situation, T stands for task, A, action, R, results. The L, which is an added one, is learning. What was the learning that came as a result of this? If you've been asked about the past experience, keep it relevant to the role that you are applying for. Keep it brief, highlighting the impact of your actions. So I'll give you an example. If you're asked, can you tell us about the time when you faced a challenge at work? A strong response might be, yes. In my previous role, we had a project with a tight deadline, and midway through, the client changed the scope. I took the lead in coordinating with the team, ensuring we adjusted the timeline and reallocated resources. By focusing on clear communication and prioritizing key tasks, we delivered the project on time, strengthening our relationship with the client. This experience taught me the importance of flexibility and communication in high pressure situations. Do you see? This answer is concise and focused. It highlights problem solving skills and the ability to stay calm under pressure without going off topic or being overly brief. Give specific context and description of your prior experience. Now, this is specifically for individuals that are coming in with international experience and need to highlight the transferable skills that are relevant to the role you're interviewing for. You want to be specific about the nature of work that you did and the type of firm that it was being done for. So, for example, don't just say Zenith Bank. You want to say a fast-paced organization serving 2,000 clients per week with a large staff size of over 5,000 staff strength and a global client base. Now, someone who doesn't know Zenith Bank definitely can make the correlation with what you're saying, serving or working in that size of organization. Key point to remember. It's about quality, not quantity. So stay on topic, but don't be afraid to expand a little to showcase your skills. Remember, you're selling yourself, wooing the girl so that you are the unanimous choice to be her suitor. Mistake number 3, body language. I can go on and on about this. 70% of our communication is made up of nonverbal communication. And it's believed that we can hardly lie with our body versus lying with our lips. And so people tend to believe your nonverbal communication over and above your verbal communication. So you want to be sure that your nonverbal communication matches your verbal communication. If you're being earnest about the value you say is important to you, you want to lean forward and show the seriousness that is required, remembering to match the tone of your voice, your pitch, and pace. If you're trying to show empathy, your voice modulation and facial expressions should communicate the same. You cannot be laughing and smiling when you're talking about empathy. If you describe a situation where you took leadership, you want your shoulders back, head up, a small smile on your face, a strong voice modulated to show confidence. You want to, very importantly, watch what your hands are doing. Watch what your eyes are doing. Watch what your body is doing and be present in the moment. It doesn't take specialized training for us to have a feeling about when you're lying. And when you try to embroider your resume, saying things that maybe you did or didn't quite do, guess what? We can sense it that something is not quite right. And the last thing you want to do is make the interviewer distrust you. I've said a lot this afternoon. I hope I've communicated some key, practical, simple steps that you can use to improve your ability to interview excellently and be the unanimous choice. But before I leave you today, I'm going to give you a practical activity that I want you all to practice after the session. Pair up with the partner or the person sitting beside you and do a mock interview. Focus on giving concise answers using the STAR method that I explained earlier. Importantly, pay attention to your body language and how you come across. How are you going to do this? Prepare a question that you're going to ask your partner, watching out for key things, how they respond, and what their body language is saying with their response. The second practice I want you to do is write down 3 thoughtful questions that you can ask at the end of the interview. Ask your partner and see, does this communicate interest in the organization? Or do you need some help in crafting questions that shows that you truly, really want to work in this organization? It's really difficult in the streets trying to land a role, but guess what? I believe in you. And with the expert help from Cindy and the professionals that are speaking to you today, I'm sure that you will wing it in no time. I'm cheering you on. Go for gold.